just amazing. I want to be you when I grow up, even though I'm much older than you. Victoria is a 13-year-old model, actress, and activist with work in TV, film, commercials, videos, plays, and public speaking. I feel like I need to take a deep breath after saying all of that. Victoria's partnered with Fair Girls to put pressure on Village Voice Media to shut down Backpage.com, which is largely responsible for a large percentage of underage sex trafficking. Victoria is now one of the country's youngest advocates, working full-time speaking, writing, and protesting to raise awareness about human trafficking and child sexual abuse. If that were not enough, she also likes to crochet and dance and read and draw in her spare time. So let's give it up for our wonderful speakers, Andrea and Victoria.
Thank you so much, Mary, and thank you for all of you for being here and supporting anti-trafficking here in the DC area and around the world. So I am the co-founding executive director of Fair Girls. I feel like Mary kind of stole my story about what Fair Girls does, but we actually work to empower girls aged 11 to 21 to overcome situations of both labor exploitation and sex trafficking. We started over 9 years ago. I myself was a young college student in Germany, and I met a girl who became a good friend of mine, and she had been a debt payment from her parents to a man over 3 times her age. She was his 4th wife, and when I tried to help her escape, she disappeared. And that always stood inside of me. And so Fair Girls started to provide services and really empower girls in other countries to stay safe from trafficking. Then we relocated to the DC area, and I thought, well, you know, trafficking's probably not that big a deal in the DC area, because really the anti-trafficking movement started really thinking about people who were over there. And then I read this story in the news about a young girl who had been murdered by her pimp. And I thought, wait a minute, that looks a whole lot what we've been doing in Bosnia and Russia. And as I dug deeper into it, I realized actually it doesn't matter where you are. Trafficking doesn't know any boundaries. A girl can be trafficked out of her own home. And so that's why we were inspired to develop a 4-part curriculum that goes inside schools, foster homes, anywhere where young people might need to know about trafficking, which is, you know, everywhere, right? But we really try to target communities where we can get that message out there, help young people understand not only what trafficking is, but what resources are available in the community, including Fair Girls, Polaris Project, Courtney's House, Shared Hope, so many of the awesome groups that are here today. And we really try to help make sure that they stay safe. To date, we've helped over 5,000 young people learn about trafficking in DC as well as around the world. And we provide services to approximately 200 girls, including emergency outreach, court advocacy, job finding, art therapy. We make sure that the girls who we work with know they have a safe space to go. So I'm about to just introduce Victoria here, because I know we don't have too much time. But Victoria and I met because Fair Girls has been part of an active coalition to shut down the adult section of Backpage.com, which is the largest marketplace where girls are bought and sold in America today. Just a few months ago, a young 13-year-old girl, whose name I'm not going to mention, joined our program. She too had been sold by her trafficker starting at the age of 9 and ultimately on Backpage.com. Victoria told her story in what was an incredibly compelling short video, trying to educate people that this is not just a problem, it's not just numbers, it's not just something that's happening far, far away, it's actually happening in the neighborhoods and blocks from the Capitol. And so Victoria told this young girl's story, and she has now become a part of our team, and we're very proud to partner with her. And I'm going to pass over the mic to her, but again, just as my colleagues Holly and Tina said, if you're not already involved, get involved in an organization. I know that everyone has something to give, and together we can make a world without slavery.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to see so many people here today, but it makes me so sad that we have to gather to fight something that should not be happening, slavery. To the organizers of Stop Modern Slavery Walk, thank you so much for allowing me to speak today. Although I'm an advocate for Fair Girls and admirer of the great work VictoriaPannell is doing, my opinions and comments are not reflective of Fair Girls today. I'm ashamed to say this, but until recently, I had no idea that slavery still exists in our modern day society. How can we be in the 21st century and have more than 20 million victims of modern day slavery? America, get out of your comfort zone and realize that the greatest injustice in human history is happening right now. We have more organizations protecting the rights of animals in the wild than protecting humans from slavery. Where is the outrage? The same anger and intensity that we have had about slavery in the past is the same amount of anger and intensity that we need right now. I'm glad that the president spoke about human slavery this past Tuesday. I like the program that he's putting into place to help stop slavery and human trafficking, but I'm more passionate about what we are going to do. We came because we have a common goal. We are not going to stop until slavery is a thing of the past. I am determined that my children will not be gathering on the National Mall to call an end to human slavery. I am determined that future generations will only be talking about human slavery in a classroom while reading a history book. I didn't come to give you stats about human trafficking and slavery that you already know. I believe in solutions. That is what I came to speak about, and that is why I'm here. I believe when people come together for a common cause, they have the power to affect change. I also believe that sometimes to affect change, you have to get down and dirty. If Malcolm X was here, this is where he would say, by any means necessary. Why is human slavery so vast these days? Because humans can be used over and over again. The criminals behind human trafficking and slavery also know if they are caught, the punishment is about the same as it is for a traffic violation. There is one aspect where criminals are like children. If they know they can get away with something, they're going to keep doing it over and over again. Slave owners and human traffickers, it is time for you to be punished. Extreme conditions cause from extreme solutions. We have to look at solutions that may be considered controversial. Personally, I don't care if some solutions are controversial. I care if the solutions are effective tools to eliminate slavery and human trafficking. Chemical or physical castration for pimps, pedophiles, and johns will cut human trafficking and rape in half. Where there is no demand, there is no supply. If Mr. and Mrs. Smith thought they could lose their assets to the third world country servant in the kitchen, it may virtually eliminate indentured slavery. We need to start caring more for the rights and well-beings of the victims and be more severe in the punishment of the victimizers. Post photos of known traffickers, pimps, and johns in hotels, motels, employee lounges, digital billboards, social media, and the internet. Men and women caught with indentured slaves or guilty of indentured servitude post their pictures on digital billboards, social media, golf courses, and in their country clubs. Make a top 10 wanted list of domestic and international traffickers along with a nice fat reward for information leading to capture. If companies and corporations are caught in the dealing of human trafficking, then the company and corporation should be dismantled and assets given to victims and organizations fighting trafficking and slavery. Lawyers take survivors' cases pro bono and go after the assets of pimps, johns, companies, and corporations that were responsible in making a person a slave or sex traffic victim. We don't need computer experts. We need computer experts to help us. Young people that are computer experts don't go to jail for hacking government or computer programs. Why not take a look at online trafficking sites? Use your skills to save a life and eliminate information that leads to slavery and sex trafficking. Survivors, I have a favor to ask of you. If you can identify your traffickers and johns, do so. Stop living in fear of retaliation. Your information may save another person. Hotel workers across the world, if you know the rich businessman from the United States is in your country buying children, identify them to the rest of the world. You know when you visit a friend and you see a slave instead of a paid domestic worker. You know the difference. If you are here living in the United States and you know the country you left behind still has arranged marriages for kids as young as 10 years old, do something about it. I don't care if it's your country's tradition or custom. Let's call it what it really is. When a child is handed over to marry someone, it is slavery. When a woman cannot get away from an arranged marriage, it is slavery. When you don't have control of your movements, it is slavery. Talk to your relatives, educate them, help stop the practice of breeding children with intent to sell them. Children are not cattle. Yet right now there are millions of children being herded together to be sold to the highest bidder. We cannot call ourselves a civilized society where this is allowed to happen. What are the criminal justice systems around the globe doing about this? Not nearly enough. I have always heard that the United States criminal justice system is the fairest in the world. It is exactly what it sounds like, a fairy tale. How can our criminal justice system explain Sarah Cruzan being locked up for 18 years for killing her trafficker to get away and save what was left of her life, yet the pimps and Johns arrested tonight will be out by the morning? Why is my sex-trafficked 14-year-old friend pregnant with her second child from Johns in jail for over 2 months while the 25-year-old pedophile pimp that kidnapped her is still on the loose? Why is a 17-year-old sex-trafficked victim in a mental hospital on a 90-day lockdown in a padded room being forced to take mind-altering drugs against her will? Stop treating the victim like the criminal. The human that sells another human is one that has something rattling around in the cranium. So why is the victim in psychiatric lockdown while the pimp is out trafficking more girls? I urge all the district attorneys around the country to take another look at cases where a victim is in jail, prison, or psychiatric hospitals because physical means was used to escape an abuser, oppressor, pimp, arranged husband, or John. When a slave is finally rescued, they need support, they need attention, love, but most important, they need to feel safe. Transportation should also be provided. I'm writing letters and campaigning to bus companies, Amtrak, and airlines to give free tickets to survivors so they can be reunited with their families or guardians. Parents, protect your children. Children, protect yourselves. A lot of abductions happen when a child is going to and from school or a school-related activity. Parents, please don't let your child walk alone. Buddy up with someone. Women and children, if someone is telling you to get in a vehicle, don't do it. You scream, yell, scratch, fight, yell kidnapping as loud as you can. Once you are alone with a kidnapper or trafficker, it's a wrap. From research, I have learned that one of the biggest traps to lure young girls to a life of slavery or prostitution is the promise of making them a star. Teenagers, listen to me. That is not going to happen. The only movie you are going to be starring in is child pornography. If you feel your only option is to run away, call an organization for help before you go hitting the streets. The streets will be a dead end for you. Young people, we have power. We are going to keep our eyes and ears open. From now on, whenever I'm at a bus station or a train station with an adult, I will look around and see if I see a young person that looks to be a runaway. If something doesn't look right, feel right, smell right, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to report it. I would rather report something and be wrong than don't do anything and was right. Law enforcement, if we see something and see something, then you do something. Follow up every lead you get. I believe that together, we have the power to stop slavery. Thank you.
Yeah!